Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle U-Nico from CZT Emiko Adachi. All right, this is a neat tangle, and I like how on Tangle Patterns, which is where I found this, link to that is going to be in the description section. I like how Linda a lot of times will put um, she'll say it shares this tangle shares DNA with other tangles, and I think that that's neat because it while something can be similar, it can also be a tangle in and of itself, and I like that she associates it with other tangles because you might really like one, and then you say, "Oh, this is cool. Well, maybe I should check out those other ones." So I think that that's really neat. So this one does have, as she puts, some DNA with a Zentangle, original Tangle, Cena, and then there's another one called Verve by JJ La Barbara, and I believe I have done both of those in Quickie videos. So search the channel and you should find those. Okay, this one, I was gonna say it's kind of treated more like a fragment, and let's see, I'm gonna just draw one, what would be one box, and I've decided I'm putting in my four corners and my border. You don't have to do that. I just felt like it, and because I think it would look neat. All right, so this one starts however you want to do this. And it could just be one fill in, and that's how you want to do it. I'll show you. I did it in a 4 square grid, and I'll show you how that looks. So, however you want to have it in each space, we're just going to put a big S shape down the center, sort of. And if it doesn't come out so great, it's okay. Then, and Emiko, if you ever watch this, I had to change up the step out a bit. And I always do my own version. Even if I don't really change anything, I just do my own version. For some reason, I would never pass off somebody else's work as my own anyway. But I just remember hearing, do your own step outs and this and that. So I always do. And then sometimes I find that I need to tweak it a little bit. And this one I did because I couldn't. Um, well, the way I pictured doing the next step didn't really work out when as I was looking back at Emiko's samples. So here's what I came up with, and you take a look at both, and you come up with your own thoughts, and that's fine. That's kind of how this works. So what I decided to do was, so I'm just going to work on this right side of the S, and so somewhere in this curve, and I don't need to necessarily go too far. It just kind of depends on how much space you have. I'm going to just come off, like I said, I'm just picking a place. Kind of like, okay, and that's kind of good. Like before it crosses over. And sort of use the take off and land concept because I want to make sure not to have the little bump that I just saw there. So you could trace over or just be real careful and start on the line. And we're just auraing. And you can change this shape as you wish. That's perfectly all right. And then we are working our way up this curve to the top. And you have to do it working up this way because the way I started was up here, and I ordered it this way because that's kind of what I saw on Emiko's step out. I'm like, well, this is not working out. Well, why not? And then just continue to go, and you can get closer and closer, as you go. And if you have to, have them kind of come out of the same place, that's fine. And so that's how I found that I needed to do it because, like I said, I was originally starting here and oraing the whole thing, and it's like, nope, that doesn't look anything that it has a different. Well, here, let me just pop this. This was my working, uh, my playing around, And see, when I just aura'd like this, it comes out like that. And not that that's bad, it's just a little bit different than what Emiko has in the sample. So then we're just going to turn it around, turn the tile, and do the same thing on the other side. And like I said, just being careful to, I almost think maybe not the takeoff and land, but just very carefully putting your pen on that line that's already there. So for me, it's just like I just don't like those little bumps that I get. And every once in a while, I'm going to do what I just did and start, from that same place because I like having that natural shading from uh, where everything kind of converges. Okay, then we'll do some shading. And I'll drop my pencil. All right, so shading is pretty obvious right where all of these guys are tucked in under here. This does also cover any little bumps and things that happen as we're working the tangle, which I love, and I need to remind myself even more of that all the time. All right, then I'm gonna fix something there, and I'm kind of going kind of dark, just right off the bat. Gives a lot of drama, that contrast, and you can play with it. I wanted this to go down a little bit into this so it didn't look like this was a gap. Get that nice gradient going. And that's it. It's a neat tangle, and do take a look at that for more inspiration, link, so you can, like I said, get an idea of, now maybe you get a different idea, but like I said, looking at the step out, that is the best thing I came up with. Now, if you start up maybe a little higher up here, then you could have them converge a little bit more. But I really only see that on Emiko's step 2, where it gets, where they're really tight together. Everything else seems to be a lot more separated. So that's where we put our own spin on it, right? Okay, so here is the same thing in a 4 square. And what I did is I used this similar to a fragment where you can turn it. So like here, well, here and here are the same. And then here and here are the same. So these though it's on its side like that. And so you can get some really neat patterns this way. Oh, and as I'm looking at it, I was thinking, well, why not? Let's just do it. I'm going to put some graphite on the grid lines and have it kind of come out both ways. Circles usually work best. Usually when I do this, I end up having to put graphite back in the center, just so that way that's the darkest point. And actually sometimes, like here, here I'm just bringing it down. Let's put some more graphite on. As I flip it all the way around 3 times. In order to get that bendiness, you really need to have it have a oh no, okay, that doesn't look too bad there. I think I got that. I just need to add a little bit more this way. Oh, good. And we'll just bring it out a smidge. Yeah, look at how neat that looks. And then, of course, could always do the outsides as well. But it's just a really fun tangle. If you could do them all the same direction, and it would still turn out really, really neat. This also makes me think of the Tangle Hypnotic, where it's a bit of a different concept, but just that it's lots of lines all over the place. Hypnotic, I think, was where you start. You put a little orb in the different corners, and then you're auraing it out. And it has a neat look. It makes me think of that one. So, neat tangle. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, would love to have you click like. Feel free to share it, leave comments, and if you like it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber on the channel. In the description section, I mentioned links to step outs. I always do my own version, and then below that, I list it as for more inspiration, because that's exactly what it's there for. And so you'll find the link to Emiko's step out below that. Ways to connect with me if you would like to. So, I do classes almost twice weekly, just depends on the week. Every Thursday, though, unless I have a weird, and that's only happened, I think, a couple times in the last 2+ years that I've been doing these online. But so I have a free session where we would do something like this and just focus on a tangle or two. It's an hour. Again, it's free. I do it twice in the day, 2 times a day. It's the same tangle. Sometimes it's the same people. A lot of people like to do it both times because we get great ideas and it's a lot of fun. So would love to have you join us. That information is on my website. I do have some classes that are paid. If you like me for free, then you might like to take one of the paid classes. They have more of a theme. And then I do have some one exclusive to my Tangle Addicts membership club, and that's an all access subscription based. So, just check it out first for free, and then you can go from there. So, I just like to mention it so that way you know. All right, I think that's it. Again, I hope you like this. And then I forgot what I was going to say. Besides that, I wish you, and I'm just going to leave it with that. And I wish you lots of happy tangling. Thanks so much for watching.